Okay, so what we are going to be making today is we are going to be making a patterned animal. So the most important part about this is to make the belly or body of your artwork nice and big. So I'm going to do, for an example, I'm going to draw a snake, I think. So I'm drawing with markers so that you can see it. And to make sure that my snake has a big body, I'm going to make it look like it just ate something. So when a snake eats something, its belly or its body gets really big. And then I'm going to keep going here. Over to the side, and then I'm going to draw my little head. And then the oh so famous little snake tongue that split a little bit. Let's give my snake some eyes. Some oval shapes. I'll give an eyelid. And maybe like a little bit right there for a nose. Now I'm not sure. I don't think that snakes have noses, but if you want to give your animal something that it doesn't normally have, you can go ahead and do that. I'm also going to give them a little eyelashes here. I think they need it. All right. So now here's the important part. Do you see how big my body is? I need to break it up into 5 sections. 5 sections. So I'm going to first block off the parts to the other part of my body, and I'm going to make 5 sections. So they don't have to be anything specific, but make them nice and big. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, and inside of all of these, I'm going to draw a pattern. So a pattern is something that repeats over and over and over again. So you can make patterns with shapes, you can make patterns with lines, and you can make patterns with color. So we are going to do a little bit of each of those. So first, I'm going to show you a pattern with lines. So all this is, for a very basic pattern, is doing the same line over and over again. So I'm going to do my first one in here. So I'm going to do straight lines. And mine's going to be almost like the top of a triangle, just to kind of copy a little bit my line up there. And then I do the same exact one. Again, making my pattern. Now you can make a pattern with lines and using different types of lines too. And I will show you that on my next one. There we go, my first pattern's done. Now, this next one I'm going to show you what it looks like to use different types of lines to make your pattern. So I'm going to start in this shape over here because I think this one will be fun for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is a zigzag line. I've done my zigzag line. If I wanted to do it like this one down here, I would just do zigzags all the way to fill, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to mix it up. So I'm going to do a zigzag, then a straight line, then a wavy line, then back to my zigzag, straight line, wavy line. You want to make sure that you touch all the way from one side to the other. And now I've got 2 sections that are done and ready. This next one here, I'm going to show you what it looks like to do a pattern with shapes. So I'm going to do some squares, but some of my squares are going to run off the page. So do you see my squares there? Square, square. Some of them will have to pretend go off the page. So I would just keep doing the same shape over and over and over again. Now, I want to show you a little bit of a variety, meaning a bunch of different kinds. So what I have is 1, 2, 3 rows of squares. Now I'm going to do circle, 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 circle. And I'm going to do 3 rows of circles because that's also a pattern. It's okay if you want to change your pattern while you're in there. Just make sure you're following. All right, now I can go back to the squares if I would like. Square. There we go. There's another type of pattern. So I've got 3 rows of squares, 3 rows of circles, and then I started my next 3 rows of squares but ran out of space. Our color one's going to come when I start to color the pieces in. We'll do a color pattern on this one when we get to it. But now I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm going to do some lines and some shapes. So for this one right here, I'm going to do a straight line, circle, 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 straight line, circle, circle, a circle, a straight line, and a circle. There's another pattern. I've used my lines and my shapes together. All right, so now this one. Let me see what kind I would like to do. I think I'm going to do another one with shapes. But I think this one, I'm going to do some triangles. And I'm going to do them this way. Triangle, triangle, triangle. Then I think I'm going to do circles below them. Then I think squares. And triangles again. All right, so because I was going down, let's peek. I've got triangle here and triangle there. Below my triangles are circles. And above my triangles are squares. So this has got circles below. What needs to go above to keep my pattern going? A square, a square, a square. So we'll draw some squares in here. Then what continues? A circle. So sometimes you might need to do your pattern backwards. Just make sure you're paying attention. Next, we've got our triangles. Then our squares. And I'm just going to put one big square and then be done. So now I have all of my patterns. You are welcome to add more patterns onto the other parts. I'm going to add kind of like what I think looks like scales. So it's kind of like bumpy. So I'm just going to speed up my clip so that you don't have to watch me do all these little scales. All right, now I'm ready to color. So I'm going to show you quickly how you do a color pattern. It's similar to how we do our shapes and everything else, but you just use the colors as a pattern. So I'm going to start with this blue color, and I'm going to color blue on the top. All right, now I'm going to switch my color, and I think I'm going to do green next. So I'll color this section in green. Then if I wanted to keep going with my pattern and I just wanted to, I would go back to that same blue. Color it in, and then back to my green. This is how you make a pattern with colors. So I'm going to keep coloring mine in, but I'm going to make mine go a little bit quicker so that you don't have to sit and watch me color for a really, really long time. All right, so there we go. I have finished with my whole drawing. Well, there's little parts here and there that could use a little touch up, but that's okay. So I finished with my drawing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections of different patterns. Now let me show you a little bit about what I did. So this one right here, remember the pattern I added to the body of my snake? I chose to color it all in and let my outlines show my pattern. That's an option that you can take with coloring. So with this one down here, each of these, so I've got my square, 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 that went in a specific color order. So I've got square, square, square going in a blue violet, a yellow green, and a kind of orangish color. So I started again, blue violet, yellow green, and then there would have been the orangish color. My circles ended up being a different one, so had I started with my other circles, I would have gone in the same pattern. Then a little bit different here. I started off with one color that doesn't match the rest, and then I went into a pattern where the rest was all brown, and then I colored in the dots black. There are many, many different ways that you could do patterns, and it is up to you because this is your artwork, and your animal does not have to be the color an animal would normally be in real life, because this is your artwork and you can make them whatever color you want. So before we go, I'm going to show another example of an animal that I have drawn, and this is a turtle. So my turtle, I did a bunch of different ones too, so all these go every other color with a pattern. I also did a rainbow or our color wheel pattern too. That was a nice big one. So it went red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple or violet, red, orange, yellow, green, and then would have continued too. So there you go. We've got 2 different types of animals that I've drawn for an example, and you can draw whatever animal you would like. Don't forget to take a picture and put it on the discussion board when you are all finished. Good luck!